Well, life has a funny way of coming full circle at times, and today is no different. I'm out here where my love affair with plants began over 12 years ago, in the land of the nurseries, McMinnville, Tennessee. I'm visiting Mary's greenhouse, where it began once in the early 1970s, has now blossomed into a 50-plus greenhouse operation. So come along, we're going to be learning about proven plant performers that you need to have in your garden. And I'm here with Beth Jacobs of Mary's Greenhouse, one of the family members of the originator, Mary Hamby here, and we are talking proven performers for the shade, part shade type areas. Beth, what are we looking at here? We're talking about some of your favorites and some of the varieties that are just time tested and vigorous. And you know your crop as well as any, as being around this for many years. Tell me about some of your favorites here.
Well, we have some pulmonarias here that do well in pretty shady areas.
Yep.
They don't really like to be on too dry.
Okay.
But consistent moisture is good. We've had a lot of trouble with the older type of pulmonarias making it through our summers, but these are the longifolia hybrids.
Okay.
And this is Trevi Fountain.
Okay.
And this other one here is Raspberry Splash.
Raspberry Splash, two different varieties.
They produce well for us, and they also do well in people's gardens in the shady, moist
Really nice
places.
pop of color there in the,
Yes.
in the deeper shade areas.
Yeah, nice spring bloomer.
Gotcha. And of course we got the beautiful hellebores down below.
Yes, we have Pink Frost,
Yep.
which is probably one of my favorite hellebore
Real tough.
because she's real vigorous. She has a marbled foliage, dark stems. The flowers open up light pink, and they age to a prettier, darker, dusky rose.
Right.
She starts blooming in January, and she'll bloom for weeks and weeks. They're really pretty right now.
Right. And good dry shade
Yes.
type of plant. People really need to know that about hellebores.
Yes, they are very, very tough. We don't have disease issues or bug issues. The
Right.
deer seem to leave them alone. So these are a great plant for someone who has a lot of shade.
Great fan favorite. And right next to those guys, I see we have some, these are tiarellas. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
This is Sugar and Spice. This is one of my favorite varieties. It has a nice shiny leaf, nice dark coloration in it, and a really good bloomer. I've had this one actually at my house for years and years, and it has done excellent.
Bit of a spreader.
Yes, it is a bit of a spreader.
Tree canopies
And the
part shade
flowers
areas.
actually are slightly fragrant as well.
Right. Fantastic. And but when I say spreading, it's nothing invasive or anything. Very containable.
None of this stuff is invasive.
Absolutely, yeah. Good point to mention. And so, yep, tiarellas are a great spring blooming favorite. And of course, no shade environment would be complete without the all favorite heucheras. And we have some tough varieties here because there are tons of them, I know, in the industry, and I know people can kind of get a little boggled with all the varieties and which to choose and which are the toughest. But here in the Middle Tennessee region, we always, as gardeners, we always want to choose some really vigorous varieties. Tell me about some of the varieties that we're looking at.
Well, I've chosen all ones that have that are Velosa hybrids.
Okay.
Because they seem to tolerate our heat and humidity better.
Bingo.
Here in Tennessee. This particular one is Southern Comfort and has a beautiful orange foliage. The leaves get really big. They'll get as big as your hand.
Wow.
On established plants. The established clumps are really pretty. And the Blackberry Ice is one that has been out for just a few years. It's from Proven Winners.
Yeah.
It has a really pretty purple veined with almost a sheen across the leaf. In the early spring, and then it kind of ages to a pretty pewter silver color.
Beautiful. And then we got some chartreuse varieties
yes,
here, I see.
The yellow leafed varieties are very popular. This is electric lime.
Yep.
And as the temperature cools off, you'll get some red veining in it in the fall. But it's this lovely chartreuse color in the warmer months.
That's a really bright pop of color there. And then the tiramisu variety that has a little bit more of a stronger red variegation in the leaf there.
The tiramisu has performed, I know it's been on the market for several years, but it has performed very well for us, and it seems to do well in customers' gardens as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think we're rounding out the pack with another type of Velosa hybrid over there.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
caramel.
That caramel? Yeah,
that's probably one of my favorite ones of all time. It's been out for a few years now, but it can't hardly be beat.
Caramel, yeah. Have to remember that name. It's been in trade magazines for I know the last couple of years for Southern style gardens for the shade. And that amber color really does pop. And we got a bit of a hybrid here with the heucherella. Is that,
Yes.
am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the way we say it.
Okay.
That's a cross between your coral bells and your tiarellas.
Okay.
And the common name is foamy bells, and it has the foliage changes with the seasons, so it's always pretty. And this one also has Velosa breeding in its lineage, and so it does well. It tolerates the heat and humidity for our area.
And this one looks like it's called Sweet Tea.
Yes,
this
that's
variety.
Sweet Tea, yes.
Sweet Tea, so it might even have some spreading capabilities.
Yeah, the clumps can get quite large.
Can get a bit larger, and nice spring bloomer to that as well. Well, fantastic, and that's one of the benefits of working in this production for as many years as you have, is you've been around customers and you've heard, I'm sure, numerous gardening stories of what is done well, and I'm sure that's kind of maybe affected your buying habit of what you kind of decide to grow for the coming years to an extent, and these have been in production for a couple years, yeah?
Yeah, some of these are as new as 3 years, some of them are as old as 11 or 12 years.
Wow.
But production is a little different than outside gardening, so we have to find stuff that we can produce well, that does well in people's gardens as well, so that we both succeed.
So Beth, here we are with some tough proven performers for the sun this time, and we got an eclectic mix of mostly perennials here on the cart and a little bit of tropicals down below. We'll start up top here and start talking about some of your favorites that we see right here. What you got?
Okay. These are scabiosas. This is a brand new series for us. This is called the Flutter series.
Okay.
It comes in a rose pink and a blue, and they have done very well for us in production, and they're long blooming.
They're loaded with buds.
If you deadhead them, they will help prolong the blooms, and easy to grow, and not any real issues that we've come across.
So pest free and
pretty much.
Yep.
Pretty
nice.
much.
Good to know. And then in front of that, we got a little bit of lavender coming on here. Tell me about the Phenomenal series, you're saying? That's a unique name.
Yes, this is Phenomenal Lavender.
Okay.
We've had this for a few years now. We've been very impressed with it. It's a hybrid, and it seems to tolerate our heat and humidity in Tennessee much better.
Sometimes that English lavender kind of peters out.
Yes, and it blooms for quite some time in the middle of the summer, and it's just done very well. It needs sharp drainage, just like the other lavender does.
A little bit of sand and compost mixed in.
Yes, and you can actually put it maybe on a little bit of a hillside or something to where the water drains off quickly, but it has done very well.
Key feature with lavender and rosemary is that good sand and compost, good drainage. Very
long blooming. It has been an excellent lavender for our area.
Good to know, good to know. And then carrying on to some of my favorites here into the world of new plants for people's gardens is the spurges or the euphorbias I see. And you have two varieties here, one of them being Blackbird and Ascot's Rainbow. Blackbird, tell me a little bit about this one.
Well, of course, it has this really pretty dark foliage and these attractive bracts that come up in the spring, early summer. And it's just an easy plant to grow.
Really hot, dry.
Yes, it takes hot, dry. It also does well in containers.
Nice container piece.
Nice
That's
container
right.
plant.
Good note.
The Ascot Rainbow is a variegated version. Gets a little taller maybe than the Blackbird, but it also has those really pretty flower bracts.
Yep.
And it has done well, and it's come back good for us in our garden here at the greenhouse. And it's just the euphorbia is just a really great perennial.
I've seen it come back in the Nashville area as well, and I have seen it in the containers. It's just something a little bit more unusual, and sometimes people use them in a little bit more modern, contemporary style designs around planters and whatnot. If you pair these with some creeping sedums or succulents and maybe some wavy grasses, the combination is just amazing. So great to know about the couple different varieties of euphorbias there. And then of course we got the garden favorite, but maybe a different variety that people haven't really become familiar with, and this is the obviously the leucanthemum, or the daisy, common garden daisy. And this variety here that we're looking with is Daisy May.
Yes.
How long have you been growing this one here, Beth?
Well, we've had this one maybe 3 or 4 years, and we've been impressed with it. It has done well for us. And Becky is the garden standard. I think it's been out forever, and it gets about 3 foot tall. And that sometimes is a little tall for people.
It does.
And Daisy May gets more like 18 inches or maybe up to 2 feet. And I think it fits in those little smaller spots.
Sure, a little bit more of a compact grower, and doesn't just get so rangy. Sometimes people think they want to put it front of the border with really, 3 to 4 feet like that Becky. Just sometimes gets a little out of control.
And if you deadhead, I think it prolongs the bloom.
Bingo.
And the bloom's can get, 3 inches across, and it's quite showy when it gets going.
Great little cut flower there to the garden for kind of stashing them in some tight spots in the garden. And so we drop down below here, and on the left-hand side of us, we got some different varieties of dianthus.
Yes, these are part of the Star series. We have Fire Star, and then we have the double magenta one there in the front. That is Starlet.
Gotcha.
And we've been pleased with these. These are very long blooming. Also, if you deadhead them, I think it prolongs the bloom. And they smell wonderful.
Oh God, you gotta smell dianthus sometimes. You just gotta stop and smell this dianthus.
They are wonderful.
That
and
sweet peppery smell.
they stay nice and compact with that pretty blue-gray foliage. Really nice plants.
Hot and dry. I've seen these around some
Needs
brick
good
retaining
drainage.
walls and good drainage, really, and they kind of clump, and they can be divided also, maybe as the years go on, but really good addition. And of course, we're going to wrap it up with some old-time favorites that are kind of coming around again. I think they're making a really popular comeback in the industry, really. Succulents.
Yes.
Tropical succulents that we're looking at here. Some more unique varieties that people can kind of grow, maybe in some part sun to shade parts out on their patio.
Yes, I
What'd you
think so.
recommend?
They do very well in mixed pots.
Okay.
You know, and they need very good drainage.
Yep.
But I would protect them from the hottest part of the sun.
Right.
But these are easy to grow. This is Blue Fingers. This is a Senecio.
Okay.
This is a copper tone sedum, and
Beautiful.
a lot of people assume since it's a sedum that it's hardy, but this one is not.
Good to know.
And this is an aeonium, which is called kiwi. And it has that pretty little red variegation around the leaf, and it's a real attractive, easy grower.
Gotcha. So some really unusual varieties here down in your greenhouses, and but good to know that they love sun, but it's just not a hot midday kind of thing.
Midday
right.
sun, yes.
Exactly right, and good drainage as well. Well, that's fantastic. It's good to know that you guys grow such an eclectic mix down here for everyone, and it's really great to see all the tough, proven sun varieties that you have in your greenhouses.
Thank you.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.